So I thought it'd be fun that we go and do a whole little mini series on a Florida landscape, a Florida native plant landscape to be specific. And because I know you may be like me, you're always trying to find some really good examples because you want to see, is that the look I want? And it's kind of hard to find a ton of those. So I figured, well, this is my belated Mother's Day gift. I told my husband, don't buy me flowers, like I want to go buy plants instead. So I finally went and picked up a whole bunch of Florida native plants, and I'm gonna be transforming this right behind me from having just a bunch of snakes plant, which are, you know, maybe invasive, and then putting all Florida native plants. So what we're gonna do in the series today, I'm gonna talk about kind of what's the background, what's the strategy, like how are we going about it, what's the thing I'm trying to accomplish here. And then in each of the episodes, we're gonna do like a quick cover of each type of plant that we're gonna see through the series. And then the last episode, because it'll be about 2 months after I get all this in, we can see how it looks. Does it look good? Was it bad? Did we learn something? I think that'll be fun to do. It'll be a fun bonus Sunday episode for a couple months, so we're gonna do that. So thanks for joining me. So today on Wild Florida, we're doing some Florida native plant landscaping. Yay! So this area of our yard, when we first moved into this house like 6 years ago, gosh, was that long already? It was interesting. So the people who lived here before us, they had a very different like look that they liked. A lot of topiary plants, a lot of like little balls and triangles and cylinders and very highly manicured look. But it was very clear that this area was kind of the forgotten zone, or the just throw things there zone. And when I mean throw, I mean like literally. There were just a lot of plants and pots with overgrowing roots, and I think there was actually a banyan tree, a small one, because when I transplanted it somewhere else, about 3 months later, the roots were like this thick around, about 10 feet out. There were plants that were dying. There was like a rose thing. There's a lot going on in a very small space, because the spaces that we're gonna be working with is about 4 feet deep by 8 to 10 feet wide. So not a lot of space, and they just had lots in there. Which, now that I'm saying that, I'm gonna end up putting a lot in there, but at least it's gonna be kind of cohesive. But this was just kind of seemed like a dumping ground for plants that they maybe were gonna do something with, or they just bought it and then they didn't know what to do and they just threw it there. So what my husband and I ended up doing years ago when we really weren't into gardening is we cleared it all out. We were just like, get rid of it, it's garbage, just a bunch of trash, half dying plants that are just crazy looking right now. And then, because I didn't know anything, I kept seeing these in our yard, and I was like, oh, well those seem pretty hardy. And I lovingly like dug out the roots and pulled them up, every one that I could find, and I planted them. And I think there were like 11 little plants that I was able to get out, tease them out gently, put them in. And here we are 4 or 5 years later, and they have pretty much taken over the entire space. So it is time. They must go. We need to replace them. And so now let's get into what is the goal of this area. Yes, we're gonna take out these invasive plants, but what do we wanna do with it? Because we could do a lot of different things, right? But here we go, here's the thought process. So when I usually make an area, it has a goal. I mean, this is not like, I don't write like a 10-page goal list, but usually it's trying to do a couple things, whatever I'm trying to do. So with this space, if you can see right behind me, it's a pretty open, big wall, and that's the eastern side of our garage. So the first and the biggest and the most important goal for me and the family is this wall gets hot, like real hot. And because there's no shade to it at all during the day, other than these little plants which aren't doing much. So this side of the house used to get a lot of shade from a sycamore in my neighbor's yard. It was probably 30, 40, 50 feet tall. It was huge. It was great. And then Irma came and that thing had like a major slant and he took it out. And now the whole eastern side of my house does not get shade. And you might be thinking like, well then just you go plant a tree. Well, the reality is my yard ends like 2 inches outside of this. Well, there's a sidewalk and then it's right there. That's the end of it. So there's no planting a tree in this space. It basically has to be some sort of shrub plant thing going on. So the biggest thing that we're trying to do here is shade this wall when the sun's hitting it, because this garage, it gets hot. So my primary goal for this garden is gonna be reducing the amount of direct sun hitting this wall. And if you've ever seen this, like you can help reduce your energy bill and the amount that your air conditioning works by reducing the temperature of your garage. It's kind of acts as this giant insulation for your house. A long time ago, we had to replace our garage door because the one that came with the house broke like real bad and there was no fixing it. So we bought a new one, but because of where I grew up, I made sure it was the triple insulated Hurricane Miami-Dade code. Forget the fact that I live in St. Pete. Like, I lived through some hurricanes down south, so yeah, we were gonna have this thing be sturdy. And just by putting in that garage door, like, you could tell the difference it was making for the overall house because it was reducing what was happening temperature-wise in our garage. So if we can do some more insulating on this side of the house using plants, that's gonna also drop how hot it gets in there, and therefore it will drop how hot that side of the house gets. And we'll do more work down there too, because I've got a whole nother wall over there that also has nothing on it, and it's got some cruddy, you know, whatever bush. So all of it's gotta go, and we gotta get some shade in. So that's the goal. Primary goal, number one, is shade. Now, the second thing is usually when I'm planting, I wanna think about food or native plants. Typically, they usually go one of those two ways. Now, I've done a lot of food planting. The western side of our house is pretty much all food. So I thought, hey, eastern side, why not have it be more native plants? That'd be pretty cool. And if I could get like a dash of like native plant edibility, is that a word? If it could be an edible native plant in there, that'd be pretty cool. So that's our second goal, native plants. And then also wanted to create like more of a mini habitat, because like I've been putting native plants like here and there, but I've not really done like a whole cluster. I've just done like a bunch of ones all over the place. So I thought, let's create a mini habitat in this space, so that'd be pretty cool too. So that's our third goal, mini habitat. So we're gonna have like edible plants for the animals. We're gonna have some host plants from butterfly. We're gonna have a lot of pollinator plants, so cool stuff, right? So that's goal number 3. Any other goals? Oh, yes. And last but not least is we're gonna get rid of this invasive plant. It's gotta go. Bye-bye. So long. I know some people like them. That's cool. Power to you. But I'm trying to, over the next few years, just get rid of all the invasive plants that I can. So our 4 goals are 1, decrease the temperature in that garage. 2, get some Florida native plants, like make a mini habitat. Get a little bit of native plant edibility even for humans. And then last but not least, get the invasives out of here. Okay, so here's the plan of what we're gonna go do. So it's a big blank wall, generally speaking. So we need to get a shrub or shrubs in place that are gonna do a lot of covering of the wall. And you heard me kind of mention that the space is not very big. It is 4 feet deep by about 8, 10, 12 feet wide. Depends how far I wanna kind of encroach on these other plants. So not a lot of space. And if I'm going for a big shrub, honestly, I could just fill the whole space with like a couple big shrubs and be done with the whole thing. But what's the fun in that? I mean, you are probably like me in the fact that you like having diversity of plants. You don't want to just have one when you could probably shove like 10. So I'm gonna put like 12 in this tiny space. So here's my thought. I'm gonna do layers. I'm gonna have a nice big shrubby plant, and then we're gonna layer some wildflowers down below. And I've not done this before, but I want to practice it with this plant. Our big shrub, I'm going to probably train it up like a little bit like a tree to open up that bottom space so we can get host plant in and pollinator plants in. And then because we're going to use different layers of shrubs, and then we've got flowering plants that kind of go more like this, and then we got ones that are going more like this, and then ones that are just kind of like this. That's technical. We're gonna create layers to help each other. So we'll have plants popping up and through. We're gonna have some that'll act like its own natural ground cover. So that's kind of cool. They'll help fill in and block out weeds from coming in. And then we'll have ones that are just like, they're all just working together, and we're gonna see how that goes. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm very excited about it. Oh, and then the other thing with the plan is that pretty much all the plants they go from plants that like semi-shade to full sun. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the ones that like the semi-shade closest to the house, and then the ones that like sun, and which are also smaller, furthest from the house. So basically as the sun starts to cover this side, as the house starts to block it, basically the semi-shades will start getting shade first, and then the full sun lovers will get shaded out last. And then that's kind of the other piece of the plan. And I don't know if you know, like, this is the other part of the plan I wanted to try out, which was, if you've ever watched, I think it was on Netflix, Big Dreams, Small Spaces with Monty Dom. Love that. It's in England, so not all directly applicable, but what I loved is that he talked about just like shove a lot of plants in a space, even more than like what the spacing guidelines say. And then he's like, and then you can just remove them later. You can move them or you won't need them or whatever. So I've not usually done that. I've usually kind of done the proper spacing, but I'm gonna try it this time. So we're gonna just put a lot. So I have 12 plants, 6 different types of plants, all going into this space. So this is exciting. I'm excited. And I'm gonna take you along for the journey. So in the next episode, we're gonna talk about this plant, the snake plant, its little invasiveness, how to remove it. We're gonna remove it and get the area ready for all the other plants. So to make sure you don't miss it, go ahead and like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notification. New videos each week on Friday and sometimes a bonus on Sunday. I'll see you soon. Bye.